friends, I wanted to make a separate video about my middle grade Martia's experience because it's different from other stuff that I read, so I just want to make this video separate. So if someone is not interested in middle grades, and I understand you totally, then just skip it. So for middle grade March there were some prompts. I did not fulfill them, I think, but when I picked this stuff up, it was thinking about these prompts. So if I remember them, I will tell them. Again, I picked not the books that adult will pick usually. I picked the books that my daughter liked mostly, and I wanted, you know, to read the same books that the same books that she reads. So they maybe are not that type of middle grades that people usually pick up, adults usually pick up. But still, let me show what I've read. The first book I've read was The Wanderbreakers of 141st Street by Karina Jan Glazer. I really enjoyed that one. I gave it 5 stars. I've read it as an audiobook. This is a story about a family who lives in Bronx with 5 kids, I think, aged from 13 to 4. And one day, few days before Christmas, their parents told them that they are renting their house and their landlord do not want to sign the lease for another year. So they have only a few weeks to pack their house and leave it. The whole life of their kids passed in this house. They love the community around the house, they know all the neighbors, they know all the shops around, all their friends live there, so they decided that it's their task to persuade their landlord to resign this lease. Their landlord lives 2 stores above them, and he's just this man who never walks from the house. They never saw him. He orders his food to, you know, to someone bring it up to his door. He never leaves the house. So they have no idea who is he and what does he like. So they're doing a little bit acts of kindness, like, let's say. Also, they're a little bit annoying and very messy, as all kids are. I like this book. I like the sense of community. I really like the family in this book. This is like a true great family with loving parents and loving children and beautiful relationships in between children. I really think this is like the best kind of children's literature, and sadly we don't have this enough right now. And I understand that it is very important to give some space on the shelves for stories about kids who are less fortunate, who are poor, who has no parents or has only one parent, kids with dysfunctional families. But also, while reading a lot of middle grade, actually, I can see that like this has become a norm in our middle grades books. Dysfunctional family is a norm right now, and I don't think it's okay to do that. I do think that we need to give a good example in books for our kids, even if their life do not have this example itself. At least we do have to have these kinds of books, so kids can choose. I really like this. I gave it again 5 stars, and I will proceed with this series, of course. And this is a great audiobook. Very fun to listen to and very easy, and I mean it's great. It's very heartwarming. I liked it. The next book, there was a prompt about neurodiverse characters, and I had no idea what I just didn't know what to read. And my daughter was like, yeah, read about Percy Jackson, he's dyslexic and it's neurodiversion. And I was like, you're smart and you're 10. So yeah, I've read, this is the 3rd book from the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. This is the Titan's Curse. Now, I like Percy Jackson series. but I do not love it. I prefer Harry Potter a lot. Like, it's completely, I can't even understand how can people put them on the same shelf. They are very different to me. What I do like about Percy Jackson, it's very fun, fast-pacing, thriller-like book. It talks a little bit about different places in USA, and this one was a lot fun for me because it takes about San Francisco, and we live near San Francisco, so we visited all these places, and it was, you know, fun thing to experience in the book. A little bit too much cruelty and death, easy death in here. Not a lot mourning, but a lot of death. Too much for my taste in middle grade books. Still, it's fun, it's fast-paced, it reads like the thriller, it's great. Not my favorite. I think I gave it 3 stars still, but yeah. This book introduced some interesting characters and interesting topics, but it just introduced it. It didn't delve into them. So, I don't know. I would continue with this series because my daughter likes them and I want to read the whole of it, but definitely not the biggest fan. Then I've read The Lost Year by Catherine Marsh. This is one of my favorite books I've read this year. I made a whole separate video about this. In a quick review, this is a 5-star read for me. This is a book having 2 timelines and 3 storylines. First is Matthew. He is living during COVID-19 pandemic. He is stuck at home with his mom and his grandma, who is 100 years old. And his dad is like working in Paris. He's a journalist. Matthew has this anxiety for his dad, but also he needs to spend a lot of time with his boring grandma. But as he talks more to her, he understands more about her and that she has some past and some mystery in her past. And uncovering this mystery, we get to know other storylines. So also there is Mila. She is 12-year-old living in 1930s in Soviet Ukraine in Kiev. She is a daughter of this high-rank communist. She is very rich. She doesn't know what is happening in the country, and her bubble of not understanding what's happening will pop very fast, very soon, and very painfully. Also, there is a girl in Brooklyn named Helen, I think, who has like her parents are immigrated from Ukraine, and she has relatives in Ukraine, and one of their relatives is actually Mila. And she had this letter from them, other relatives, that they are starving because there is a great famine in Ukraine called Holodomor, and people are dying like in millions. She's trying to help them, and she started this chain of events that will change everyone's lives. This is a great book about important part of history for every Ukrainian, which is not very much talked about. Holodomor was a great famine in Soviet Ukraine, only in Ukrainian part, which was caused both by Communist Party because of different reasons, from political to geopolitical to just bad economy, but mostly for political reasons. And lots of people died. And the memory of it is too painful for every Ukrainian. I mean collective memory, because of course I didn't live at that time. And it's great that there is a book about it. Also, this is a book about social justice, because Helen is understanding that New York papers are not covering this with truth in their mind. They do not tell the truth, they are fake news, and she is working through it and against it. And also there is Matthew with this understanding of heritage and of something that his family had in the past that he had no idea was there, and how it how with this in mind he began to understand his life differently. This is a wonderful book, very deep, a little bit not for small kids. There is death in here, and there is horrible death in here, but it is preceded with intimacy and understanding of young people's minds. I really like this book. I highly recommend it. I think that's a great book for school reading or whatever, but I think this is a real middle grade read, like for early middle grades. 5 stars. And another 5 stars is Aggie Morton, Mystery Queen, The Body Under the Piano. I talked about this in another video when I talked about mysteries every other month. Quickly, this is a great mystery series with Agatha Christie, young Agatha Christie, and young Belgium immigrant called Hector Perot, like Hercule Poirot, but a young one, uncovering the mystery, uncovering the murder. And I think this is a great starting point for mystery lovers. This is a great book for your kids to be introduced to mysteries, and overall I enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. This is like a great mystery. I really liked it, and yeah, highly recommend this series. This was my middle grade March. Hope you enjoyed yours. Tell me please about your favorite middle grade books. I need to know, because first I want to read them myself, and also I have a middle grade daughter who is also interested in reading. And yeah, thank you very much for watching this. See you soon in another video. Bye!